Hi Gemini, it's Michelle B, and I'm going to do a reading for you for the next 12 days. We're looking first at what to embrace and what to leave behind. Then I'm going to look at your money, your prosperity, your abundance, and then I'm going to look at your love issues. If you resonate, I got a little boy here. We still got another week before school starts, so there will be a little bit of tippity tappity and a little bit of racket coming from that. Just a little disclaimer there. Anyway, if you resonate with all the messages here, then awesome. And if you don't, make sure and check out your moon, your rising, your Venus, your Mars, and any of those birth placements can be lighting up at different times in your life. So make sure to check out those from my own sets of readings, or Sally, quiet down.
Huh?
Quiet down. Or from other tarot readers, because there's a lot of great readers out there. Here we go, what to embrace and what to leave behind for the next 12 days. In this reading, I found that there's a lot of introspection going on for you in this period that you're in right now, because you are reassessing who you are in relation to others. I feel like in the past, you were told this is who you were meant to be, right? Other people were all, you're going to be like this. And it's very much like this successful, driven, masculine energy that was like, you've got to do this, 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 and you got to do it right, right? You need to be the master of money. You need to be the master of business. You need to, you are a very analytical, methodical person when you decide that there's something that you're interested in, but you need to be adaptable and changeable. You cannot be this person unless you're really, really, really excited about something. And this thing that you were put up to a long time ago, before you even had a chance to decide who you were, is not something you're very excited about anymore. That's okay. You get to do that. You get to leave that behind. And I think that you've already gone through the process of purging the attachment to that identity. And now you are embracing the fact that other people may not even be paying attention to what you're doing. Like, it's the aftermath, right? At first it was like, oh, you're great because you're doing the right thing. You're great because you're doing what you should do all the time. And when you said, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore, people were like, what? At first, like, you're crazy. And then they're like, oh, we're going to go over here. And so there's just like the quiet afterward. And it's painful. It was, or it has been painful for you, but you're getting kind of used to it. You're getting kind of used to the quiet, and you're like, okay, who am I now? If I'm not the person that I should be, who am I now? In the wake, you knew you had to make these changes, but it's ended up being a lonelier process than you expected it to be. And I get that because the Hermit has come up over and over in this reading. So looking at your resources, your abundance, this is what Geminis want to know. What's going on? What should I know about my money? How can I attract more abundance and prosperity into my life? It's all about the internal world reflecting, or the external world is reflected from our internal world. So internally, you got some stuff going on. The Queen of Pentacles is this knowing. Remember, we had the King of Pentacles for what you were leaving behind. You're turning more toward being the Queen of Pentacles, which is it's a much gentler, more adaptable version of the King of Pentacles. So you're softening your attitude about the way you think that things should be when it comes to what you do for a living, or how you create value for other people. You're softening yourself and allowing yourself to be more adaptable, more mutable, more changeable, which is much more in alignment with the energy of Gemini. This Queen of Pentacles is the card of Virgo, which is also ruled by Mercury, just like you, but she's a lot earthier. She's an earthier energy than Gemini itself. With them, Gemini is very cerebral, whereas Virgo is much more grounded. They can be very cerebral too, but anyway, so this is who you're becoming more in alignment with. It's just being somebody that can be adaptable and changeable, which is more in alignment with your mercurial nature, which can switch and change and make new decisions very quickly. But there's also a part of you that wants to take things really slow and really easily. You're a little bit nervous about the prospect of having to go very slowly because of having to be introspective about what you do want going forward, right? You're like, what do I want? I need to figure that out. And but it is making you a little bit nervous. That's why that Hermit came up in the reverse. So, and it's because you're worried about the bills. You're worried about what's going to happen in the future. If I'm not doing the work that I always did, how am I going to pay the bills? If I suddenly decide to change my mind about who I am, how am I going to explain myself to the people around me? What's going to come in and get me if I'm not on the defense all the time by being who I should be? So there's a lot of this going on internally, but we're looking next at the advice that the cards have for you for going forward. Central to the advice for your abundance and prosperity is keep your chin up and don't wait to be told what you should be doing. You know already what you should be doing, right? Even if that should be doing is just sitting there and looking out the window while you feel more emotionally stable about who you are. Who you are is good enough already, right? So why are you waiting for the thumbs up from somebody else, right? Why are you waiting for the go ahead? Why are you waiting for someone else to save you? Don't, right? So we've got the Ace of Swords that's here. It's saying you don't have to explain yourself to anybody. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody. You don't have to tell other people what you're doing. You can keep it totally to yourself. Remember we were talking about how you're a little bit anxious about keeping to yourself while you're taking some time to reassess what's important to you or who you are, what you want to be. You don't have to explain it to anybody, okay? That's going to take a lot of pressure off, knowing that you will find the answer. Everything is going to be okay. I don't see any scarcity or destitution in your future anywhere in here, okay? The vibe that I get from the energy of Gemini at this time is it's a very important introspective period that needs to happen in order for you to level up. This period of what you were before had limitations, and now you're breaking through, you're busting out of your bonds, you're exceeding your limitations, you're reconfiguring yourself as a caterpillar, like going into a cocoon and just completely reconfiguring their molecular structure to becoming a butterfly. But you are very anxious about how things are going to go in the future. Me saying it isn't enough, that everything's going to be okay isn't enough. I know that's okay because you're like in your head, but you're just going to have to see over time that it ends up being okay. Everything is going to end up being just fine. I was like, what about this anxiety that the Gemini's feeling right now about their future? And we have the Four of Cups came up for that question, and it was saying you have a lot more resources than you realize. You have not cashed in all the resources that you have available to you. If you were able to, something that you can do to give yourself some comfort and peace and the feeling of security is key when it comes to attracting abundance to ourselves, attracting creative ideas to ourselves. We need to feel safe in the first place. If I were you, I would go through and make a list of all the resources that I have available to me. Write them down so I can see. Actually, I do have 3 months worth of resources here. I'm gonna be fine right now. Actually, I do have all of these resources in my community. I'm never gonna go hungry. You know, I have this person I can call on to give me part-time work when I need it, so that I can focus the rest of my time and energy on like thinking about starting new projects and things like that. So you have a lot of resources at your disposal. You're in a pretty fortunate position, and there is no scarcity in your future while you take some time to reassess who you are and be in the peace and quiet of creating the new person, okay? The new person that you are becoming. Now, moving on to your love and connection messages. Now, for those of you who are in awesome connections, great relationships already, and you don't have any questions about it, this isn't for you. and the same goes for those of you who are perfectly happy being single. Instead, we're going to look at those of you who are single and want to be in a relationship, or those of you who are in relationships and you're like, I don't know what's going on here, whether I should be in it or not, right? So there's a few different things happening for different Geminis. So I have a couple little messages. But first of all, Gemini is in a very introspective place. They're working on themselves, and it's not so much about the other person, at least for the next 12 days. They're in a place where they're working on their own stuff, and that is really, really good. You don't have to feel guilty for a second about doing just you for a little while. That's all we have is ourself, right? As long as the person, the people that we're connecting with are feeling safe and secure in the relationship, you can do what you can. Otherwise, you're like, I gotta do me, right? So that's okay. A really cool thing happened. I was like, what? When this happened. Because I just bought this, I ordered this Solace Divinity Tarot deck from Australia about 3 months ago. And I didn't go through and sort through the cards and look at every single one of them. I just shuffled and started using them, started doing readings. So remember, I got this Hermit in the Solace Divinity deck for your abundance and prosperity. Look what came up in your love. And I was like, what? The deck had 2 Hermits. It came out. The Hermit is who you are right now. You are a person that's doing your own thing, trying to find out the truth of who you are. And the better you know yourself, and the better you know yourself and what you need, and the better you know yourself and what you can provide in a relationship, the better partner you can be and the better relationships you attract to yourself. So yay, you get to take some time for yourself. Remember, we had the Hermit and the Queen of Pentacles, which are both Virgo cards. Both were ruled by Mercury at the time of this recording. It is Virgo season also. So Virgo is really influencing you. We also have the 9 of Pentacles coming up in your love and connection, which is the single lady. She's my Beyonce card. She's the single lady that is creating what she wants for herself, okay? So you are perfectly happy doing your own thing. Even if you are in a relationship, you're like, this isn't the time for me to be fussing about connections at this time. If you do want to be in a connection, if you're craving that, it is part of the work of creating a relationship to know more about yourself. It's a wonderful thing. So I'm seeing you like kind of being in love with yourself. I'm seeing you really enjoying your own company, being in this hermit mode. You're really enjoying your own company and you're getting the rest that you need. You're eating healthy. You're taking really good care of yourself. And that is quickly attracting something really good. And that's great. So don't be nervous. The Page of Swords is Gemini. It was in the reverse. I feel like it's the energy of like, should I feel bad in some way that I'm not working on my relationships? Should I feel like I'm being selfish? Am I being selfish if I just focus on me right now? No. Everyone is fundamentally selfish, and it's okay for you to just work on you, but treat the people in your life with kindness and respect. And if they can't respect the fact that you have to take time for yourself, then they are not ideal connections for you. Okay? Everybody's got to do that sometime. There's a time to be together and there's a time to be apart. Okay? So that's there. Now, what's going on for some extra advice when it comes to connections for those of you who are building relationships right now? Yeah, you are spending some time apart, but you have sown the seeds of starting something, even though things are working very slowly, steadily while you're working on yourself. If it's a really great connection, they're working on themselves too right now. Your paths are parallel and they're growing at the same rate, and eventually those two vines will come together. So be patient, okay? This is a bean vine, and those vines will come together. They're growing in tandem, parallel, okay? They're growing at the same time. Once again, this is the resting and reassessing, reevaluating card. So that's where I came up with all of that advice from before. That's all right. But there are some of you who have this, I see this is a representative of Scorpio, but it doesn't have to be a Scorpio energy. Like if you don't know what their sign is, if you don't know what their, risings are, like for forever, I didn't know that my sweetheart is a Scorpio rising. I had no idea. But I just felt this vibe from him. Anyway, this came up in reverse. This is a manipulative energy. It's like a pouting. It's an energy that's pouting and feeling sorry for themselves that you're not spending enough time with them. This is for those of you who resonate. Like I feel like several different scenarios. This is like an awesome connection, and then there's a scenario for some Geminis where there's a emotionally manipulative energy that's saying you're not giving me enough attention. It's the classic codependent narcissist. It's like, take care of me, you're doing too much for yourself, you're being selfish, but it's really them that's being selfish. This is not a good energy for you to be in connection with. So be very, very careful about this person. You take time for you. And if they don't like it and they pout and they run off, good riddance, okay? You don't need that. We don't need that selfishness. Because when you take time for yourself, you're not pouting and manipulating, right? When they're taking time for themselves, you don't like try to make them treat you the way you want to be treated, right? We can all find fulfillment. We don't have to hurt someone else in the process of getting what we need. I wanted some closing thoughts. I just pulled one little card. Look what came up. Enough said, okay? Take time for yourself. It's fine to learn more about you. The more you learn about you, the more successful you're going to be later. Part of the cycle of abundance is taking time to rest and make a plan. Okay, so that's where you're at right now. Let's check out your affirmation for the next 12 days, Gemini. To close everything out, what is your affirmation? Final closing thoughts for Gemini. My seeker, what is the truth? My hermit, my seeker, what is the truth? Oh, what do you need in this moment? Create your own affirmation. Wow. Because we have all kinds of affirmations in here and they're all really simple, but this one's all about creating your own affirmation. Remember, keep the affirmation in the present tense and avoid negative words. Can't, won't, don't. You got this, okay? What is your affirmation for this moment? What is most pressing for you right now? I would say with that hermit repeating over and over and over again, for those of you who can't think of one on your own, I would say, it's okay to just do me right now. It's okay to just do me right now. Okay, I love you, Gemini. I'll have another reading for you in 12 days. In the meantime, take some peace and tranquility and take some time for yourself. Just rest. Watch movies. Go for walks. Do whatever brings you pleasure. You deserve it. You've worked hard for a long time. You've gathered enough resources that you can do this for yourself right now. Love you. I'll see you soon.